So hello everyone, this is Friday, July 29, 2022 and this is the Hindu Daily edition. So as usual, we'll be first identifying the most important news followed by a detailed analysis of the same. So without wasting time, let's move on to identify the most important news. On this page there is nothing. There is nothing on this page. There is nothing on this page, neither on this page, neither on this page, and neither on this page. This is an advertisement page, so is this. Okay, not required narrow view. Okay, we'll see this the narrow view thing. Okay, and there's one more article about tiger conservation. We have to see this. This is very important. EPA, you give it a read. Fine, because India has protested it. I am not going to read this. You just give it a read and let me know if anything is there. Okay, power grab in Tunisia. There was this president. Initially, his name was Romdhanena. I think he has been removed. Okay, we'll see accordingly what is the scene here. Just the gist, not more than that. Fine. Now BSNL has been recapitalized. We'll see the gist first. There's nothing here on this page. I think nothing on this page. Yes, this wildlife amendment to save entrepreneurs from harassment. We'll see this. And this data is important. This thing is important, right? That the number of tubectomy is 10 times. Tubectomy is 10 times number of vasectomy. This means the onus of pregnancy is on women, right? The control of population. This is not good. And okay, and there is no other news that is relevant. Fine. So we have seen the most important news. We have identified them. Now let's go on and analyze this. Right. So we had the first news on editorial page. So we'll begin from there only. Narrow view. SC verdict on PMLA fails to protect personal liberty from draconian provisions. Look, I don't personally agree with this, but let's see what the author have to say. The Supreme Court verdict upholding all controversial provision of PMLA fall short of judicial standards of reviewing legislative action. Understanding every aspect of its analysis is a belief that India's commitment to international community on strengthening the domestic legal framework for combating money laundering is so inviolable that possible violation of fundamental rights can be downplayed. Okay, so it is saying that India's commitment to international community is so strong, so important that domestic framework for what is this about all about for combating money laundering. So the commitment is so strong and inviolable that possible violation of fundamental right is a possibility there. Means you will not let this money laundering thing violated rather than let the fundamental right be violated. It is saying that I don't agree with this. This is just not so classy statement, right? They should have given better, at least better this thing, what we say, better justification for this thing. If a court gives a decision against you or not in your favor, that does not mean that the court is wrong, right? Let's see. The judge repeatedly invokes the international commitment behind Parliament enactment of the law to menace the laundering of proceeds of crime, which it underscore had transnational consequences and has adversely impacted financial system and even sovereignty of countries. There is no doubt widespread international concern over malefic effect of organized crime fueling international narcotics trade and terrorism. Okay, so it is itself saying that international narcotic trades and terrorism. More than this, this involves trafficking. okay, of human. This involves uh, organ trafficking, you say. This will involve prostitution, okay. This will involve what we say, kidnappings, political murders, okay. A very big dimension is there, right. Much of these activities are funded by illicit money generated from crime laundered to look legitimate and funneled into the financial bloodstream of global and domestic economies. A stringent framework with opposite departure from routine standards of criminal procedure may be justified in some circumstances. It should be justified in almost all circumstances, right? However, experience suggests that money laundering in India context is linked or is seen as a byproduct of host of both grave and routine offences that append to the act as a schedule. The schedule or the predicate offence ought to be ideally limited to grave offences such as terrorism, narcotics, smuggling, corruption, and serious form of evasion of tax and duty. This is again wrong. You are saying that the author is saying that okay, the crime should be what we say, okay, the schedule should be limited to only some crimes related to this thing, but this will again become a loophole there, that a smaller crime will be used to fund a bigger crime, and the offender will get released or offender will get some kind of respite via the clause of this smaller crime, right. Crime under PMLA should be made unvocally equal, right. That any crime if booked under PMLA will obviously attract more punishment, so people will obviously be ready not to invoke these kind of things in their activities, right. And hence the vision of crime free society can be achieved, or not exactly society, less number of crime in this can be achieved. However, in practice, the list contains offences such as fraud, forgery, cheating, kidnapping, and even copyright and trademark infringement. The ED has also manifestly selective in opening money laundering probes, rendering any citizen vulnerable to search, seizure, and arrest at whims of executive. Okay. Since things it is money is involved here, and that is also mostly liquid money, so this kind of power has been given there. It's not that the law itself is wrong. It's not that the implementation of the law is wrong. Yes, there is a problem that common people faces the challenge. Then there is a problem with women laws also, that male faces challenge. There is a problem with rape law also, that the people who are not guilty faces the challenge. Every law has its positive and negative outcome. For some it has positive, for some it has negative. Because of one negative you cannot let the entire positive thing go, right. Similar is the case here. It's disappointing that court did not find provision for forcing one summoned by easy to disclose and submit document and then sign it under the pain of prosecution as violating constitutional bar and on testimonial compulsion. No, it is again wrong. This line is again wrong. Why? Because this constitutional bar on testimonial confession under article I think 22, right. It is applicable during the trial and not during the summoning period, okay. Nor it was impressed by the argument that search and seizure provision lack judicial oversight and exclusively driven by ED officer, provision that allow prosecution for money laundering even without scheduled offences being established, and amendment deleting safeguards have passed muster with the bench solely on the ground that they were removing lacunae pointed out by the international evaluators of the efficacy of the law, save for an odd comment that a special court could examine document to decide on continuing detention. There is nothing that judgment will attenuate the laws rigorous. Okay, it rejects the plea to treat ED officers who record statement as police officers, thus protecting their evidentially admissible. This evidence is admissible in the court, or this EDs, right. You just remember this. For police, normal police, it is not admissible, but here it is admissible. At the time when ED is selectively targeting regime opponents, the verdict is bound by to be remembered for its failure to protect personal liberty from executive access. No, no, no. This is just an exaggeration. Why are you attracting this thing? You say that they can come to you. Yes, they can come to anyone. If you have not done any wrong, then why are you fearing? And if you have done any wrong, then you have a reason to fear. Don't give such kind of attitude here, right? This entire article is anti to the, I think, logic itself. Okay. Sometimes Hindu gives such editorial. It is worthless to read these things. It's not that we shouldn't read others' idea, but the thing is that sometimes they do not have any logic in it. Okay, India must not lose sight on the fact that there are other factors critical to ensuring the survival of big cats. Why it has come? Let's see. Extinction. This ominous word has one meaning: the death of a species, and it is a word that we seem to hear often these days, especially in the news. But the opposite is possible today, which is Global Tiger Day. The world and India can celebrate the recovery of at least one endangered species. India is now reporting increased tiger numbers, and in a recent international IUCN assessment suggests that tiger number have increased by 40% since 2005. This is a cause for celebration, but the rise in tiger number enough to prevent their extinction? Decades of research in ecology and evolution suggested that numbers are critical to avoid extinction. Populations that are smaller than 100 breeding individuals have high probability of extinction. At the same time, of population to persist. Okay, population that are smaller than 100 breeding individuals have high probability of extinction. At the same time, the population to persist. They should be part of larger landscape with other such population that are connected. A small and isolated population faced high probability of extinction. This is because small populations are subject to chance or random events. These chance events may cause them to lose advantageous genetic variation, while other detrimental genetic variants might have increased in frequency. The process is called genetic drift. Okay, so one factor is genetic drift. Also, individuals in small population are more likely to be related to, leading to interbreeding. This is another problem. Inbreeding. This exposes to many slightly disadvantageous genetic variation that are present in all genomes. When expressed together, the detrimental genetic variation cause breeding depressions and reducing survival and reproduction of inbreed individual. Closer look at the distribution of tiger across the range shows that more tiger population are smaller than 100. On their own, tiger population do not have high chance of survival. So why are we not seeing extinction happening often more? This is because tiger population are connected to each other. We know that most tiger reserves in India are small and embedded in human dominant landscape. So does the landscape between tiger reserves. Agriculture field reserve for rest, built up area, etc. allow tiger to move through them. Research finding. One way to answer this question is to use movement data sourced from radio collared tiger, often difficult to come by for a rare and endangered species. Alternatively, tiger can be genetically sampled using their excreta, hair, and other biological samples from different tiger reserves and analyzed in laboratory. Genetic variations in DNA can be identified and analyzed and compared along with tiger reserves. Set of tiger reserves that shows shared in genetic variation are well connected. The inference is that intervening landscape facilitate connectivity movement. On flip side, set of tiger reserves that share less genetic variation must have barriers on landscape that impede movement and connectivity. For example, in our research, we analyzed tiger genetic samples in certain Indian tiger landscape and investigated genetic sharing between population. Our results were surprising. Most land use type were not too bad for tiger connectivity, including agriculture field. However, the presence of built up areas and high traffic roads generally impeded tiger movements. Okay, yes, they will. Using the understanding of connectivity, we were able to simulate scenarios for future where we asked how our tiger population might be affected. Would there be more extinction in the future or would they stay connected? Our results show that extinction could be avoided if corridors were safeguarded. What was striking was that fencing tiger reserves and isolating them resulted in high extinction. Okay. We use these methods model to also predict the impact of impeding development project in central India. Widening of certain highway, for instance, would make them barriers, thereby increasing extinction substantially. These results were along other studies which were used in court to petition for having an underpass to allow wildlife movement and connectivity. In summary, as long as we manage landscape outside tiger reserves to allow tiger movement and protect prey and tiger inside the tiger reserve, tiger are sure to survive in landscapes such as central India. I think rather than underpass, this should have been better. That say this is the tiger area reserve through which it is going, and say this is the road that is going through it, right? So rather than giving them underpass, we can build an underground road from here only. No. That would be a big thing, right? No, this is good. Underpass is good. This is the area and this is the road going. So what we can get? We can get a underpass from here and fence these roads here. So no tiger will enter here from this side, and they will go from this side to this side. They will find out their way, right? They are good at finding their way. Okay. In Simlipal and Rajasthan, Simlipal, Orissa, Rajasthan, in Rajasthan, we all know. But what about population that are already isolated? People have always wondered why black tigers were found only in Simlipal Reserve. Our recent work of pseudo-melanistic or black tiger found in Orissa has demonstrated genetic effect of isolation. Genome sequence of little Jew tiger that included pseudo-melanistic cubs revealed that single spelling mistake in specific gene caused this tiger to look this way. After we found the causal genetic variation, we traveled through Simplipal and collected tiger excreta. We looked for the specific genetic variation in tiger DNA and found that it was common only in Signipal, where 60% of tiger carried at least one copy. Other analysis have suggested that the tiger in Simplipal from small and isolated population. All our results pointed to genetic drift on random events that have led to this genetic variation that caused pseudo domelanistic color becoming common in Signipal. On other side, in Rajasthan, genome sequence have from wild tiger revealed that individual of Ranthambore show inbreeding. Okay, while we do not see adverse effect of inbreeding as yet, individuals are related and carry potentially disadvantaged genetic variation which might affect the survival and reproduction of tiger in Ranthambore in future. Strategies for future. While we are celebrating the recovery of tiger population only by looking at numbers, we must not lose the sight of other factors that are critical, such as connectivity. Special attention is needed for populations that are becoming isolated and facing the genetic consequences of such isolation. Further, the future of such population may depend upon genetic rescue or even on introduction of novel genetic variants. We are fortunate that novel genome sequencing technology provide an opportunity to understand tiger much better in the context than their conservation. The future of tiger will require a dialogue between such data and management strategy in order to ensure the survival. India is lucky to have so many wild tigers that we must work together to save them. Okay, a good article. Although points we know most of the points, but still it's a good article, I would say. We must be appreciative of the articles. These are very good articles that come. Some articles are irrelevant, but most of the articles are good. Sometimes they become entirely one-sided. Okay, let's see this Tunisia thing. The Arab Spring protest began in Tunisia in December 2010, leading to fall of regime of uh, Abidine Ben Ali, who has been in power since 87. Ben Ali has to flee the country in face of mass upsurge. In domestic election, okay, which are ideological link with Pan-Islamic Brotherhood movement emerged as main political, okay, fine. As unrest was spreading, President Kais Saied moved in, sacking Prime Minister Mechich and suspending parliament, plunging the country into constitutional crisis. Okay, fine. Just know this thing is happening there, right? Let's see the BSNL thing. Okay. Government will provide 13,789 crores to BSNL to fund the operational viability gap in the commercially unviable rural wireline operation done during 1415 to 1920. Okay. A pursuit of Telecom Regulatory Authority monthly subscriber data between April and May shows that BSNL lost wireless subscriber at an average of 0.3% each month during the period. Reliance Jio and Airtel held 6 and 5.5 times more base transceiver stations respectively in comparison to BSNL. Yes, Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel have become are the most important player in the telecom market, and BSNL is lagging. Okay, and we had, yes, here it is. The central proposed amendment to decriminalize certain provisions of EPA were to save law-abiding citizens and entrepreneurs from undue harassment in case of minor non-compliance. Fine. In absence of such provisions, several court cases are filed and increased burden on judicial system to be noted. He noted. Replacing a clause earlier this month, the Environment Ministry issued a notification for this thing by replacing a clause that provides for imprisoning violators with one that only requires them to pay a fine. This, however, did not apply to violations that cause grave injury or loss to life. The proposed fines in lieu of imprisonment have also gone up by 500 times. Currently, the Act says that violator could be punished with 5 years and fine up to 1 lakh or with both. When violation continue, an additional fine up to 5,000 would be levied every day. There is also provision for jail terms to be extended to 7 years. Historically, no corporate offender has actually been imprisoned under the provision of the Act. The Environment Minister said that he has received suggestions to decriminalize existing provision of EPA to weed out the fear of imprisonment for simple violation. An analysis by Center for Science and Environment found that Indian court took 9 to 33 years to clear the backlog of cases of environment. Beginning of 2018, close to 45,000 cases were pending for trial and another 35 were added in that year. More than 90% of the cases were pending for trial in 5 to 7 environment laws. Okay, 5 of the 7 environment laws. The provisions are proposed to be decriminalized with heavier penalties in order to encourage self-regulation in the law-abiding citizen and entrepreneurs on one hand, and imposition of heavier penalty coupled with provision of IPC 1860 to act as deterrent for violation of on the other hand. More or less it could be seen. Okay, 500 times. Okay, fines increased. You understand? Means for 5 lakhs now you have to give 2500 lakhs or 25 crores. So you can actually see what is the case here, right? I think, yes. With this we come to end of today's newspaper, I think. Yes. With this we come to end of today's newspaper. I hope you like it. If you like it, consider subscribing the channel, liking the content, sharing and commenting. With this it's time to say a goodbye to you, take a part from you. So goodbye all, good luck, study hard and Jai Hind.
So friends, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share this video with your friend. Follow us on Telegram as well. Also keep studying hard, keep following your dreams and keep tuned to our channel. Comment below for any suggestion. Till then, goodbye, good luck, keep studying hard.